very, very fragile emotionally. Depression is another important issue, and the lack of communication and the proper lack of fluent speech is very, very difficult to them.
Yeah. And so from the caretaker's point of view, just to wrap this up, I just want to focus maybe the next couple of minutes on the caretaker before we end the interview. From the caretaker's point of view, is there any support for them, for actually helping them through this disease, helping their, husband, wife, mother, etc.? And do they actually suffer themselves from health problems as a result of being a caregiver?
Well, I think in caregivers we see other point, which is the significant increase in depression and anxiety and problems with coping also in caregivers. So this is another important point. Also, many families are working very, very hard. We see this big problem mostly once the disease is getting worse and worse. Mostly the impact in the partner or in the father, mother is huge. And not all people involved in the healthcare realize of the impact on mood on the caregivers. However, we try to explain once we detect that there is a single caregiver, we try to refer to the social worker to look for other strategies and in order to receive social work support or to receive the support from the council to receive a caregiver a couple of hours per day if needed. So we need to identify this quickly, to identify the fragile caregiver in order to discuss with the social worker the best strategies to receive additional support. The second point is always we discuss in advanced stage of the disease with the main caregiver the impact on mood and healthcare to them, and mostly into things. First, depression or coping problems, and the second point is the risk of having neck, back pain when doing transfers, mostly when the patient is very heavy, because we see caregivers starting with disc protrusions, degeneration of the disc in the neck and the back, starting with sciatica or stiffness in the neck and restriction in the movement of the neck, because they are moving very heavy person every day and doing transfers. And however, since the beginning, we try to focus on this fact to prevent these health issues in caregivers. And one of the reasons why we insist they should attend the physiotherapy visits is because in many occasions the physiotherapists, they're going to teach the caregivers how to do safe transfers, in order to prevent these neck and back problems that may happen so commonly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you, yes.
Sorry. So caregivers will get help from a physiotherapist.
Excuse me, could you repeat?
So a caregiver, so if I understood this correctly, a caregiver will receive support from a physiotherapist to enable them to appropriately care for the patient.
Well, I think my experience with physiotherapists and the contact with caregivers has been very, very good. So first, regarding the training and the teaching for transfers, and the second point is we always speak to the physiotherapists and also to the caregivers to identify any earlier problems in the neck and the back for the caregivers. I'm not sure if this is something that we are doing in our team, or I'm not sure in other teams are doing this routinely, but my feeling is not all people are passing this level of support to the caregivers. Why? Because this, again, may depend on the level of understaffing in physiotherapy at the community level or a local level. And it's not the same